Welcome to day 162 of TFIF 365. And today, again, extending this conversation as I attempt to live my life supremacy-free, coercion-free, discrimination-free, and exploitation-free. One of the themes that has been coming up a lot lately, and what definitely came up over yesterday while I was, in my head, where I spend a lot of my time, is that I was trying to isolate, is the best word that comes to my mind. Isolate those moments, those thoughts when I was had either reverted back to the past or was projecting into the future. I realized that there were very few moments, conscious thoughts, conscious thoughts where I was actually in the present, where I was actually in the moment. Because even in that moment, let's say for an example, if I'm in the moment and I'm enjoying myself and I'm listening to music, particularly if it's like some old school, something that I heard as growing up. As soon as I hear those songs, I start reverting back to the past, and then I'm reminded of what may have been going on when that song was playing when I was in the car with my dad, or it was playing, it's just like you automatically revert back. And then you have those moments when you're in the present and something triggers you to start projecting into the future, projecting into what could be. And then that starts a whole nother line or rabbit hole of thoughts and anxieties and strategies and all kinds of stuff. And so it was really interesting to realize how little time I can't speak for anybody else actively spend in the present. And yet this is the thing that people say, oh, it's about, this is being in the present is the thing that makes helps with your mental health. And it's like, but how do we get there? Particularly if you're from a marginalized group, because you don't just go out in the world unmolested, right? We grow up from a perspective, from a way of life that means that everything we engage with, we have to put it through these for my case, white supremacist and anti-Black narratives. And until I was actually aware of them, that they were operating on me through systems, institutions, and policies that were being leveraged by people who got to benefit from those systems, institutions, and policies that harmed me. You don't understand the past, the present, the future dynamic in a way that I can say that when you hear people on social, even mental health experts talking about, the value of being present, they don't talk about, for me, the challenges of how to stay that way. Because if you're always calculating, if you're always having to be strategic just to be safe, just to ensure that your basic needs of food, shelter, and safety are met, how do you stay in the present? Because you're always having to come across something in the present that triggers you back to the past or forces you to project into the future about how to respond to things that you know are about to happen. And so it's this cycle of ongoing trying to stay in the present and then beating ourselves up when we revert back to the past, project into the future. And with supremacy-free, coercion-free, discrimination, and exploitation-free, I am really forcing myself, literally forcing myself to be in a practice of, if I revert back to the past, what am I here for? What's the information am I trying to gather? And while also reminding myself that it's the past, it's not something that can actually hurt and harm me right now, or even bring me immediate satisfaction because it's in the past. All I can do is bring up memories or feelings that brought me satisfaction for the past and try to bring them forward into the present, but they're not real. They don't exist. And the same with projecting into the future. It's not there. We're only ever in the present. And yet I have to, we have to project into the future when we're talking about our families, when we're talking about our jobs, our careers, planning, it's just a vacation. We project into the future about what that vacation is going to be like, what it's going to cost us. How are we going to deal with the cost and all these other things. So vacation is a great example because there's oftentimes when we're in these spaces and we're supposed to be even enjoying ourselves and we can't because we're either reverting back to the past or projecting into the future about, okay, this doesn't feel like I thought it was going to feel or felt like when I was a child, or how am I going to pay these bills? There's so much there. And so supremacy free, coercion free, discrimination free, and exploitation free for me today is to dive a little bit deeper into this feeling of, or this I don't even know what to call it, of this thing of if being present, if being in the now is where my mental health, the benefits of or where my mental health can benefit me most. How do I maintain that in ways that I can incorporate the memories of the past without the trauma and project or look into the future for delights and pleasure and adventure without seeing the narratives of what could go wrong. And that's the battle. That's the battle, because I don't know about anybody else, but I just find it interesting, again, and then I'll wrap this up, is that the present is where we are told that we can experience our most joy, our most happiness, our most delight, where our mental health is optimized. And yet everything about society, everything about this experience either throws us back into the past or shoots us far into the future. And how do we navigate that? Because I think that's where a lot of the anxiety and stress and depression comes, because there's no cohesion there. It's just like you just bounce. Again, I use the pinball machine analogy. It's like you're just being popped off all these different things, and you're back, and it's like a lot going on, and you hear all these bells ringing and these lights going off, and yet I'm supposed to be quiet in the moment now. Yeah. So until tomorrow, peace.